Do you worry that if you ever stepped away from your business, maybe even for a few days, week or two, the whole thing would crumble, collapse, and fall to pieces? If so, you're not alone. The good news is it doesn't have to be that way. Now, if you look at the statistics, there's millions and millions and millions of businesses that are being started every single year in America. The bad news is there are millions of businesses that are failing every year in America. It's just this constant churn. And the reason I've found that most of these businesses seem to fail is the business owner isn't thinking about business the right way. They don't have the right understanding. They don't have the right perspective. They don't have the right views on how things should go so that they can make it a success. When that happens, they're trying to do things the wrong way. Could you imagine, for example, if you were in the business of tying shoes and you go in, you try tying shoes with your eyes closed? That's what business owners do all day in their business. They may be like, oh, yeah, I could do that. But when they don't do it the right way, it's not going to work. Same with tying your shoes. You have to be able to see the laces so you can find them to tie them. Now, tying your shoes isn't that hard. We all do it. But when you close your eyes and try and find the shoe to tie, it's not going to work. Same with your business. This is how you can change, is by changing the way you're doing things, changing your approach, changing your perspective. Now, one of the books that so many people have read that are successful business owners is called The E-Myth Revisited. The E-Myth Revisited is the updated edition of the E-Myth. Now, the guy that wrote this, his name's Michael Gerber, absolute genius, and he comes in and he shares some concepts that are going to take and open your eyes in business. And it's going to make so much easier for you to run a business even if you're not there. You can create a structure and a system and a business that runs even if you're not in the job, doing the work, ensuring the fires are getting put out. When you do business this new way, you're literally going from your eyes closed, trying to find the shoelaces, to opening your eyes and having a brand new perspective. That's what this book is going to do for you. So practical examples in here is he goes in and he describes driving along, visiting a hotel, and having the most amazing experience of his life at this little hotel as he's driving along the western coast of the United States. And he describes then how this organization was structured that allowed them to have such an amazing experience for their customers, but it also seemed like everything just went smooth. And he takes those principles from that example and he's then teaching us as business owners what you can do so that you can move out of that chaos and into a situation where you're not running on putting out fires all day and solving every problem. So if you've not read it, highly recommend it. But let me share a couple of tips and tricks you can implement right now, and also one warning, because the first time I read this book, I had this preconceived notion of around what he was teaching, and it really stuck and gave me a bit of pause. So the warning first is this book presents it like you as the business owner have two options. The first option is that you're working in the business all day, every day, doing all the manual work. We'll say if you're a roofing company, option one is you're the roofer that's slapping the shingles down. You're going and getting all the materials. You're doing everything. You're in the grind yourself. Option two that he presents is you own a roofing company and you have somebody that does the shingles, puts them on, rather, I nails them down. You have somebody that's going and buying the supplies. You have someone doing the sales. You have someone doing all these different parts. And you as the business owner are just the conductor leading this orchestra of employees. Those are the two examples, but he doesn't give any room for the middle. Now, what I've found is most people cannot effectively move from that position of I'm in the business all day long over to I'm the conductor instantly. And the way he describes it is almost like you flip a switch whoop, from one to the other and you move from this to here. But for many business owners, this is the way it works in real life, is it's little baby steps. And so if clear over on one side of my screen where I'm standing is fully integrated doing all the work, and the opposite end of the screen is me not doing any of the work and just the orchestra leader. It's, for most of us, it's a slow baby step, baby step, baby step transition as we migrate from one side of the spectrum over to the other side of the spectrum. That's how it usually works. It's not something that you can just flip a switch and magically happens. I've seen people try and do that and they're like, I've got to get out of the business. And they start really just dumping on other people and they bring people in But because the business owner doesn't know what they don't know, and they don't know the new way to think yet, it's really hard to change your entire mindset and your entire perspective and your entire everything and become an effective leader instantly if you have no experience in that. And that has been, for more than one business that I know, a recipe for disaster. Some made it right up to the brink of collapse when they did that. And the only reason that they were able to pull it back was they stepped way back over to the other side and moved back into the integrated in the business all day, every day, until they started to slowly build it back out. But I know more than one business that were a hair's breadth away from failure because they tried to move too fast on that switch and they didn't know what they needed to know to make that transition happen. So, couple of tips for you. One tip is, if you're going to start moving from that end of the spectrum of doing all the work to not doing the work, one of the easiest ways to do that is you just pick one thing today that you can go out and create a checklist. And the checklist is the process that we do things. Then, aside from that, you're also going to create the instruction manual that teach people how to do that. I find one of the most effective ways to create an instruction manual is to shoot a video, even if that means you're just talking to your phone or you're showing them in a video and you record it on your phone. Those kinds of instructions, then you can save that and you can review it yourself. And you're like, ooh, I did a terrible job of describing that. Or you can share that video to them and then watch it together and get feedback on what's missing, so that you do that a couple of times and your trainings will get really good. But then you have that instruction sheet for that one thing that you're going to offload. You hand that to someone, let them try it, and give you feedback on where they get stuck. That's how you move baby step by baby step from being fully integrated in your business to the conductor that's leading your business. And if you want some more tips and tricks, I would advise go get E-Myth Revisited. It's a good book. It's going to give you some good training. And if you need a little bit of help with all of this, I'd recommend you go check out Grazora.com. That's Grazora.com. It is a organization, it's a business movement designed to help small business owners be able to transition from being stuck in the business to having a business that is no longer a trap. It's converted into wings that give you as a business owner the freedom you need to be able to soar and accomplish the purposes you have in your life.